Giants.
Joe Schoen has not gotten a contract extension. He is on the last deal of his contract. And so a lot of Giants fans, as you see the graphic right there, they want him fired. Should he be fired? Should general manager Joe Schoen be fired despite the Giants having one of the better drafts, or some people say the best draft, at least a top 5 draft class by all accounts. And despite, the Dexter Lawrence trade and them actually getting decent value in that trade, as well as saving money. Just seen a graphic earlier on Twitter where they actually saved, I think they're paying Harris, Reeder, and CC Marinoa, who they took 10th overall, paying them like $17 million, where they would have paid Dexter 23. Look, man, there's a lot of smoke around this dude right here, Mr. Joe Schoen. Personally, I don't believe he should be fired. Personally, I never thought he should have been fired, even before Harbaugh got here, because I never thought the disaster of the Giants was his to blame entirely. Which a lot of fans put it that way. Everybody in the organization shares blame for the Giants being a bad team, all the way up into the owners, who nobody wants to talk about except me. Never mind that for a second. Let's get back to Joe. Should he be fired? That is the question. And if he's fired, who do you get to replace him? That's what a lot of fans don't talk about. I guess general managers fall out of thin air. I don't know. But this one, Coach, I put on the docket for the night because it always gets to me that Giants fans, despite everything good that goes well with them, they find something wrong with the team and what's going on. And this guy, Joe Schoen, is the target now by most fans and media. I see ESPN bringing it up. Like, should Joe Schoen be fired? For what? What's he doing to get fired? But y'all talk to me in the chat. Coach, what's your thoughts, man?
I don't care either way. He gets fired, he gets fired. If he stays, he stays.
Good.
So what's up, Dave? I mean, there are some things that he's done well. There are some things, I'm sorry, he hasn't done well on. So, and you can make the argument it was early and maybe he's progressed, because just like any of us, you're going to make mistakes initially, and you should learn from your mistakes. You made an argument, because I've always said the issue was coaching, but when I said, I said it before, I said I was sold on the marriage of the two. That's why I was saying they both should go. It wasn't one over the other. It was just that they both go. But he's here. Okay. If him and Harbaugh doing a good job, I mean, they're aligned, they're in sync. Okay, let's go. Let's build a championship caliber organization and move forward. Now, I will say this: can't leave the man hanging. If you're expecting him to be here, then give him a contract and let's go. It's just like a coach. You don't want that coach going to have that 1 year. Same thing with the general manager, man. And I get it. He got bad grading from players, within the Giants locker room. I get it. But ownership, either make a decision one way or the other. And let's stop with this, because it's going to hang over this organization's head, and it's going to be a distraction That's my biggest thing. I'm tired of the distraction. If you're going to sign him to a contract extension, sign it now. It'll cause a little heat in the beginning, but eventually it'll die down and everybody will move forward. He's here. There's nothing you can do. Let's go. But if not, get rid of him and let's go. Who? It'll fall on Harbaugh. In the end, it doesn't matter. You can bring a de facto GM in. You can make it Brandon Brown. Did I say his name? Yeah, Brandon Brown. Whoever. But the point is, it's still going to fall on Harbaugh. And he's going to be the de facto GM, really, when you think about it. So that's my opinion. Kill me if you want.
Nah, I respect it.
I don't mean
because
in general, anybody.
Yeah, nah, because it's here's the thing. For one thing, a lot of Giants fans complain about continuity in the organization. Remember, they kept complaining about you can't keep firing coaches, can't keep firing general managers. Well, you be doing the same thing here. Number two, like I mentioned, you can promote Brandon Brown, but didn't he learn from Joe Schoen? Hasn't he learned?
I thought he initially learned in the Eagles organization.
He was an assistant. He was not an assistant general manager with the Eagles, I don't believe.
No, what I'm saying is he learned the general manager role, and then Joe Schoen contributed to help him expand. So yes, he learned from Joe Schoen as well as the Eagles. That's so. Again, I'm not saying that he learned one over the other. I'm saying he learned from both.
He came from Philly. Yeah, you're correct. You know what I'm saying? But his role as an assistant general manager was under Joe Schoen. So if you promote him, he's going to take a lot of the traits that he learned from Joe, because that's who he's been working under.
That's fair.
And let's end with this. Look, man, what do you want out of your head coach? Do you want your head coach involved in these player personnel decisions all the time, heavily, like Bill Belichick was? Bill Belichick, for all he was a terrible general manager. Patriots fans will tell you that. He was not great. Missed on a lot of draft picks, questionable free agent decisions, but they won, so nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was worried about that until Brady left, and then things started looking wonky, and everybody was looking like, well, shit, it's not really that great here. So, out he goes, and then they bring in Vrabel and Elliott Wolf, who I believe was the de facto general manager, but he didn't have no control like this situation. So again, that was kind of Bill Belichick's cover, so to speak. So I want that being said, to make a long story short, I want my coach focused on coaching and let the GM do the GMing. Now if Coach Harbaugh, has final say, that's fine. Let him have final say. But it's not him doing the actual job of the GM. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's why I bring things like this up, because I do want to clarify, and I'm glad you're here too, to help clarify some of these things for the people. You don't want your coach doing general manager stuff. Yeah, you want him to have control over the roster because he's got to coach these dudes. But as far as general manager stuff, what are we talking about? Scouting, contracts, different things like that. You know what I mean? We can go on and on and on. But that's why I say Giants fans need to back off Joe Schoen just a little bit. That's true. Stop putting this fire Joe Schoen. Will he be fired? Will he be back? Will he stay? Will he go? Leave it alone. You got what you wanted. You got Harbaugh. And I told Pat this. when I think before John Harbaugh got hired, I said they're gonna bring in somebody to give Joe Schoen a buffer, like Tom Coughlin did with Jerry Reese. Remember, nobody worried about Jerry Reese until Tom Coughlin got fired. Then all the emphasis was on, well, what is this guy doing? You see what I mean? Jerry Reese got to work and do his job in quiet. And they were successful at that, with Tom Coughlin being the face, answering the questions, doing the hard stuff, because he's the leader of the team. So that's how I see this going, man. But what's your thoughts on that?
No, you're making a valid argument, a very strong argument, and again, that's why I said, I could take it one way or the other, but what did I say earlier? Ownership. To be honest with you, in this, you say it all the time. You talk about ownership all the time. This falls on them, man. Extend the man and let's keep him moving. Fans initially, we all do it. I'm sorry. There's not one of us, because we're fans. We're emotional. But after a while, we'll adjust and we keep moving. So either stop stringing this man along. If you want to move on from him, move on. If you want to keep him, give him the contract just like you would do a coach. You wouldn't want to go into the season with a lame duck coach. So, and in fairness, and look, I've been hard on Shane. I've been very hard on Shane, but I'm going to speak out here. It's not fair to him to leave him as a lame duck GM. So, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, man. Totally agree. Giants, like I said, signed Reader. So they did plug that defensive tackle position right there. Going to get into a lot more of things on Giants conversation.
Me, sexy fatties.
I want to save the kind of the meat and potatoes of the conversation, but I do want to tap into it for our Heart of the City audience here. As the Knicks are getting ready to wrap up, we're going to get to them next. But what's your thoughts on the Reader move? And do you think the Giants do you think they're good in that spot now? How do you feel about the sexy fatties, as you say?
Reader's a good run defender, definitely. He's not a pass rusher, so I'm not delusional to think that. You're going to do certain things, scheme up certain things to get the pressure on the quarterback, but he's going to help keep teams, as I like to say, behind the sticks, and that's in second and long, third and long, because then teams are more apt to pass. So now, what do we talk about? The pass rushers that we have, which is to our benefit. So yes, he's going to help there. And again, you can do certain things. I like the depth so far. I do want to see some of the schemes and what they're trying to do, but I was just looking at the roster, and yeah, there's some good things there in terms of what we can do defensively. Now, if everybody buys in and guys are coached up right, you may have a little something there defensively. You may. So, hopefully things will go well, and the Reader signing will be the final piece to help this defense grow and gel. I will say I was surprised it was a 2-year, 12.5 when I heard his market rate was $4 million. So I was just like, ooh, but hey, that's also telling me they wanted him bad and they had competition. So they had to do what they had to do to sign him. So, and I'm not mad at it. When you want something, if you got to pay a little more, some people may not like, why you pay more? But if you go out there and there's a car that you really want and it's more than what you wanted to pay, but you really want it, you're going to pay for it, or you're going to walk away.
Think about the alternative. If he doesn't do it, and DJ Reader goes to the Jets or to the 49ers or somebody, whatever team, pick a team, and people like, well, why didn't you sign him? You should have gave him the $2 extra million. Yada 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 yada. So sometimes you can't win. With either way you go, but I'm with you. Excellent signing. They needed it. They have depth now, and guess what? Like you said, having all those big boys up front will allow your linebackers to get in those pass rush situations that you want, and it is going to be scary for teams this year. And this is not, because we're, Giants supporters or fans or whatever you want to call them. It's because it's true. Can't block all those dudes. They're too fast and quick for offensive linemen to block all four. And you got to think when you do stunts and twists and blitzes, and it's like, God damn, now you bring in extra dudes and they coming from all different directions. Yeah. Like Chris Canty said, you might as well just line up and punt. So teams are going to have to keep the Giants ahead of the sticks this year. I like what I'm seeing from the Giants. I've been hard on them. I have, but I'm going to give them credit. That's why I brought this topic up with Joe Schoen and the moves they've made, because you got to give them credit. You got to give the man credit. If you're going to give the man blame and you're going to give the franchise blame when they do bad, you got to give them credit when they do good. So shout out to Joe, shout out to John Harbaugh, shout out to the Giants, man, for actually putting together a decent looking team. Now it's on paper. You got to go out there and play the games, and anything can happen. But you feel a lot more confident going into this season than probably you've had in over a decade or more, with this Giants team. So kudos to